guys, we are back.
Hello. We are on time. We've been on time for the whole month of August so far.
Oh yeah.
Every week. I've been really happy.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, well, I feel like I have hit some reading fatigue. I
So
am
it's not
reading
just me.
Outlander.
Got it.
Yeah. Okay. I finished Kingdom of Ash. I don't know if that was in our last check-in
No,
or
I don't
not,
think
because
it
I know
was.
we talked about it. I should have brought Kingdom of Ash, but I liked it. It was really good, really epic finale. It was crazy. And then I got in an Outlander mood because we're watching the prequel series, Blood of My Blood, and so I started reading Outlander. I've been keeping up with, I'm using actually the ebook because it's easier. I hate these tiny books, but I'm keeping track of my progress because it makes me feel like I'm making progress. But the thing is, it's like 500 pages, and I read it a little slower because it was written in the 90s. It's written from
Yeah.
1945 and then the 1700s, so the language is like I just take longer to absorb it.
Yeah.
And so I'm like I feel like I'm only on page like 60 or 80, and I'm like out of a 500, and so I'm hitting a big fatigue where I'm like I'm tired of reading just in general. And I so part of me was like, but I really do want to read this book. And so
Yeah.
that's where the last couple days I've been back in a mood where I love like true crime, and like Mr. Ballin is a YouTuber that I watch, and he put out a book of his because he tells stories on his YouTube channel, The Strange, Dark, and Mysterious. And he put out a book of like a comic of some of his more famous
Oh,
stories,
cool.
and the way that he tells the stories, like there's always a twist. And because it's a comic, I feel like I could read it pretty quickly. And so yeah, and so that's where I think that if I read Outlander in the background, I can read this to feel like I'm making actual progress with a second book this month, and then just keep working on Outlander as I go so I don't get so fatigued is what I think I'm going to do. So, but that's pretty much my reading things. I noticed I really it's interesting because like the more that I read this, I read and then I watch the episode to where because I read until I get to where I know an end of an episode is because I've watched the show enough to know. And so I've been following along with the TV show and comparing directly. It is so close. Sometimes I feel like I'm annoyed because I'm just reading the same thing that I've gotten to watch because it's
Yeah.
like the same thing. But then there's some differences where like they combined conversations and like made it go a little faster. The one big thing that irritates me actually with the book is that I feel like she's more competent in the TV show because she knows a lot of doctoring, and in this one she kind of takes like a back step where she doesn't actually
Yeah.
do a whole lot. Like in the TV show, she's healing and giving people tips and advice, and she knows all of the herbs and things. But in this one, I wonder if the author was trying to be more realistic with her not knowing the 1700 stuff. And like
Yeah.
they do that in the TV show too. It kind of just feels like she's not quite as competent.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. And then in the book, she didn't take an interest in Frank, her husband. Like he's obsessed with history, and she would just be like, he's just going on and on, or whatever. Kind of like annoyed with him, just not really annoyed, but she didn't really pay a whole lot of attention. But in the TV show, she actually talks and interacts with him and like talks about the history with him, and like has a lot more of like an interest in the history part that he's talking about because he came to Scotland to look for his ancestor basically. And so but in the book she seems more annoyed with it and not as fascinated with history as she is in the TV show. So those are the big differences, and ironically it's making me annoyed with the way that she's written in the book because I
Yeah.
like the way that she's written in the TV show, if that makes any sense. Jamie is pretty much the same. So Jamie is Jamie, and there's like a lot. Every scene between the two of them are like word for word almost. They had one where it was like a combination of two different scenes in the book that took place in different
Yeah.
points, but it was like pretty much the exact same word for word dialogue
Yeah.
is the same on that part.
Oh, cool though. At least it's like,
Yeah.
and it's always interesting, like comparing like book to movie adaptations because sometimes sometimes they're like really spot on, and then sometimes you end up developing like a preference for one or the other, and it's like
Yeah.
it just kind of it's I tend to lean more towards the book preference when it comes to it, which I always make the point of if I see a movie coming out that I know is comes based on a book, then I'll read the book. I'll try to read the book first. The only exception to that was Percy Jackson, which is why I still have not read the first book in that series to this day, is because I watched the movie first, the initial, like the first
Yeah.
movie, and it was so, so different that I couldn't get through it. My middle school brain couldn't get through it. But it's interesting to see that, like, that you almost prefer the TV show to the book. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I wonder why. I wonder, like, what the reasoning for that was. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe the. Hmm.
It's very interesting. I don't know if it's just like, I mean, it was kind of a couple minor scenes where it was like he took the punishment for a girl and he gets beat up as punishment. And so afterwards, in the TV show, he kind of patches him up more directly, and the other woman comes in and tells him to swish something in his mouth to help the cuts on the inside of his mouth. And so in the TV show, she still comes up and says, "Here, swish this, lad," or whatever. And so he puts it in his mouth. But in the book, it like goes on more where the old lady is like doing a lot more and like explaining a lot more and like doing the healing, and Claire kind of takes a back step and doesn't do a whole lot in that scene. And I was like, it's kind of one of those where he sees her as a healer and it kind of fascinates him in the TV show. And so I've always kind of latched onto that, and so it feels a little.
So is it one of
like
those things? Is it one of those things that it's a moment where she's learning from somebody that's there? And it's like
No,
going
that's
more
the
into
thing I
detail to
think
her
is,
learning the
like,
process, or is it just kind of like this other person is the one that took care of it?
She doesn't seem to be learning, but I could be where she just hasn't learned a lot right now. But I don't know. It's like she feels kind of not really bland, but like she doesn't have as strong of a personality that kind of pops out and stands out in the
Yeah.
book to me. Like
Yeah.
TV shows, she has a very clear personality, and I noticed that too. Like in the book, her like they still had several moments where she's really frustrated with the one of the bandages that she's doing.
Yeah.
They're at nighttime, they're chased by the British, and she's like, she can't get the bandages to untangle or something, and she starts cussing. And she learned it from the World War II, being around the American soldiers that she would tend to, and it was like 1940s version of it. And so so some of the Scottish guys were like, "I've never heard a woman so foul-mouthed in all my life." And he's like, "Woman, your husband ought to tan your hide." And she's like, and he's like, "St. Paul says that a woman should be," and she's like, "You can go, basically screw yourself, and so can St. Paul," or something like that. She doesn't say screw yourself, but it's the same kind of concept.
Yeah.
Areas.
That's
And so that
funny.
was the same. But like that kind of fire. She's a very strong female character without being like physically masculine. And so I've always really loved her character because she's like, she takes charge, she bosses people around, because she's like, nurses kind of had to in order to like get people saved while they could, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And she's a healer, so she knows how to, and she's very calm in a crisis. And she's really resourceful too. And like in the TV show, the other thing that I noticed that was different is that they end up keeping her prisoner at the castle, and it's kind of like in the book she's not a direct prisoner, but she just can't find a means to leave right now. But in the movie they actually lock her in a room and they don't let her leave. And so in that one she actually has to like gather resources and try to escape herself in the background. And I don't think she's going to do that in the book. But also, another thing I wanted to point out, going back to what you said about adaptations, I've always said that for a good book to screen adaptation, it needs to be a book to TV show, because you could always do one book in a series per season, and you could do like 1 or 2 chapters per episode, and that structure can keep it as much as possible. And that's why I feel like Outlander is one of the closest adaptations I've personally been able to do both, watch the show and read, because this book 1 is season 1. And so far, like season 7 is season 7, so they match up book for book to season, and that's what I like. I feel like that's what works really well with adaptations if you're gonna do one, basically. So you're reading Crescent City.
Yes. The only downside that I've found is it takes with book to TV show is that if there's if there's no time jump between books, like your actors and actresses will age because it takes them so long to record all the episodes and stuff. Like there's like that weird age thing, and then if they try to do that, I swear I feel like CGI has gotten worse over the years because this new age, like this new I forget what it's called, like where they de-age them. It looks so bad. I don't care how much new technology they use. Every character they use it on, it looks bad. And it's like with Obi-Wan Kenobi show when they did the flashback with Hayden and Ewan, it's like they both looked horrible. Not horrible, but they both you could tell they were old, and it did nothing for them. And I just felt bad, and it's like, I don't know, it's a weird, it's just like, it's weird. It's interesting because I definitely would prefer a TV show over a movie, especially if they're going to go detailed, but at the same time it's like, you know, is the show going to get canceled before they can finish? Like, are the actors going to look the right age? And it's, I don't know, it's just weird because companies very rarely hire actors that accurately represent the age of the characters they're playing. I know the new Harry Potter TV shows did pretty good with that. Like the Harry, Ron, and Hermione, the kids that they've hired or that they've hired to play those characters seem pretty young. So I hope they have some good down-to-earth adults that are watching over those kids, because anytime kids that are in Hollywood, we find out later that it was never a fun time.
Yeah.
So I hope they have some really good people watching over them.
Going back to the aging comment though, real quick, the Avatar, that's the problem that they had when they adapted Avatar: The Last Airbender, is they filmed season 1 and now they're too old, and season 2 they had to add in a time jump because the actors aged by the time they got season 2 out. So it's definitely a problem.
Yeah.
Anyways, you're saying.
So I've kind of hit a weird spot. I'm making very slow progress. I think I need to listen to the graphic audio for a bit to get back into it. I don't know. There was one situation where I felt like Bryce got out of a situation suddenly, and she had a really bad attitude when she did it, and it just, not bad attitude, but it was like, I do what I want kind of attitude. But that's the whole character's personality. That's just her. But it was like, it just felt really weird. I don't know. It just felt like sudden. And it felt like the character that she kind of like tricked the character. And I'm like, I feel like he's smarter than that. And I don't feel like that character would realistically fall for the trap or whatever that she placed for them. And I'm like, that threw me off. And then I just kind of, I don't know. And then she had another interaction with another person that's fairly powerful. So she's just interacting with a couple different people that are higher up. And she did it again where she had like I know what I'm doing. You're going to do what I ask you to do. Like, you're going to do this. I don't care if you're a royal or whatever. And, but that person clapped back at her a little bit, and I appreciated that, and that helped kind of settle my irritation. But I think after that, I've just kind of like slowed down.
Yeah, but, I can understand that.
I don't know, that she kind of acted that way again with another person, but this person's a real butthead, so I'm totally okay with it. Like, he has like really like women should be silent type attitude, and I'm like, you know what? Go for it. Call him an a-hole all you want, because he is. But you know what I'm saying? And I'm like when it's accurate, so I'm like, I don't know. I think I just need to spend some time that, and I've been really into achievement hunting with the Oblivion Remastered. I want to get all the achievements are all easy to get, and so like in my head I'm like, I need all the achievements. So I've been kind of achievement hunting with that on my computer. So that's kind of put
Yeah,
me
I get
in
that.
a spot too.
Like, when you get into another, that was my problem too with Outlander. Is when I started watching the TV show, I was like, I just want to watch the TV show, and so I'm like, so that was kind of like what caused part of my reading slump. But hopefully you'll be able to like listen to the graphic audio and kind of get yourself out of it a little bit. I know,
Yeah.
okay, I promised an author friend of mine, Verity Buchanan, that I would read her arc, and she sent this book to me. And so I started reading it. I didn't realize it was like YA, so the characters are much younger, and it's just not my genre, and I'm in a bad reading slump, and there's just all the like I just it's not my genre, and that combined with the reading slump has made me to where I don't think I'll be able to finish this book. And I did let her know politely, because like as an author I totally understand, and I was like, I'm crushing her heart here and like all that stuff. But I did want to still shout out this book, because if you have any people here who are watching who actually do like YA fantasy, then this is actually like a really good book to try. Her writing style is really beautiful. She's got these really cool chapter headers. She's got a cool map, and I think she has some later on, like some scene art or something. I thought I saw peeked of. So I wanted to shout out this book. It's called The Journey by Verity A. Buchanan. It's the Serestan series, book 1, and I think she's got book 2 out already. Um, it says, how do you shoulder responsibility when responsibility is everything you ever feared? Fred Thorne takes his duty seriously. When his stove fire destroys his home, plunging livelihood and family into chaos, he sets out to lead his younger sisters to a safe haven. But the terrifying burden of protector weighs on him, and he waits eagerly for the moment to pass it on. If only it were so easy. Misfortunes and setbacks multiply, peril stalks even the safest roads. As a wedge of resentment deepens between the siblings, Fred is losing his own self under a relentless spiral of guilt. Where will the Thorns find their place of safety? More importantly, can their fractured relationships weather the intervening storms? So it's sounds like a really good book. And like I said, it's just YA fantasy. So if you guys like YA fantasy, you should check it out.
Yeah. And I was just kind of curious, like I've been kind of into this thing lately where I like reading stuff that people like questions that people have posted on Reddit, and somebody was like received an arc of a book, and they were super excited about it, but as they were reading it, the plot felt a little bit more plain than what they were expecting, and they were wondering, am I allowed to DNF an ARC book? And I thought it was kind of a really kind of interesting question, because that's not necessarily your case. You didn't kind of realize that it was kind of a genre that you don't normally read, and so like on top of being in a book slum already, it was just kind of a situation where it was like, I don't feel like I could like accurately give a good review for this. You know what I'm saying? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like that's the kind of situation you're in. But this person was like wondering like, so all that to ask, have you DNF'd an ARC book? Is it bad etiquette? I don't even want to leave a review for this book because I feel so bad at how. So this person felt really bad because of how awful the book was, and I feel like I should be grateful. And somebody posted a comment that I'm like, I really appreciate it. Kind of, they're both a reader and a writer, so it kind of made me think about our situation, because you're a writer and a reader, and I'm just a reader, not a writer. I've tried. I got a prologue in that was half a page, and that was it. So yeah, you're the writer, not me. It says, as both an author with a book currently going through arcs to boot, and a serial DNFer, yes, you can DNF, absolutely. In my opinion, nobody should ever feel obligated to keep reading a book they aren't enjoying, whether they signed up for an arc or not. You're not doing yourself or the author any favors by forcing yourself to have a bad time. You can either quietly DNF or you can post a DNF review. That's up to you. Either way, don't feel bad about it. No book is for everyone, and while authors absolutely hope for positive arcs and hype their that's the grammar issue there. Okay. It says hype they're meaningless if they aren't honest. So like dishonest hype isn't real. You know what I'm saying? I can't. I'm not wrapping my brain around it, but I'm hoping you get it.
I kind of get the gist of it.
Yeah, and it says that includes being able to DNF when it's not your jam. And so it's like, it's kind of an interesting question. Like, as an author, how do you feel about like arc copies and like
Me personally, both as a reader, I DNF books a lot. Like we've talked about that
yeah,
period of my
yeah.
life where I didn't read anything, or anything I tried to pick up, I couldn't read. So I personally feel like you should be able to DNF a book. As an author, on the other side of things, I have had so many instances where I send out art. Every author should know this, that when you send out arcs, if you send out like 20 arcs, only expect 5 people to read it, and of those 5, only expect 2 or 3 to actually leave a review. So you
Yeah,
have to be aware of, you always want to send out way more than what you're wanting, because you're going to get a small percentage that actually is going to follow through with it.
yeah.
So for me personally, most of the time I never hear back from them again. I send the book and I never hear back from them again. And so I personally value honesty. And so I like, if a person can't finish an arc, send me a message, let me know,
Yeah.
potentially tell me why, because if there's something wrong with my book, I would like to fix it. But at the same time, like if you didn't like it, I get that. Like I was scared to talk to Verity about, why I just couldn't get into this, because it's not my genre. That was my fault. I
Yeah.
should have did better research before I agreed to something.
Yeah.
But I would value somebody telling me, hey, I'm not gonna be able to finish this, I'm so
Yeah.
sorry, whatever X reason.
Yeah.
And like, to me at least, that lets me know that they're not going to be able to finish the arc.
Yes.
And so I'm not expecting to hear back from that person and then never do.
Yeah.
So like, I always value honesty. It's like, if you go on a date, you should be honest and be like, hey, I'm not feeling it, we didn't really vibe, I don't think I'm going to be going on a second date with you, we should probably go our separate ways.
Yeah.
That would be more of what I would value, just because I value honesty. And so if I, like I said, in this situation, that's why I sent her a message, because I would feel disingenuous if I would force myself to read a book that I don't like, because then you're not enjoying the book. I wouldn't want anybody to read one of my books if it's like a slog, and they don't really want
like
to. So
as like from purely just a reader perspective, like if you will, like in my, like my, this is just my opinion, people can agree or disagree, whatever, but like in my opinion, if you willingly sign up for an arc copy of a book and the author chooses you as an arc reader, then you have an obligation to at least attempt to read it. Now, whether you actually fully get through that book and enjoy it, or you have to DNF it for various reasons, I feel like you should at least give the author a heads up and say, hey, I read the book, I got to, like, you could either be in detailed or vague. You could say, hey, I got to chapter whatever, and I realized it's just not my jam, and I want to be honest with you, but I don't want to pull down your rating, whatever. Like, whether you want to leave a review or not, it's completely up to you. But I feel like I agree with you. I feel like you need to, especially if it's like a not a small business, but like a small author, like a self-published author, like that really relies on feedback from ARC readers. I feel like if they willingly chose you and you received this book for free, then it's the least you can do to at least let them know, hey, I am super grateful that you chose me to read the book. I got to such and such or whatever, but it's just not my cup of tea for whatever reason, like you did. And I feel like feedback is important, because that's the whole point of why you got the book early, so you can give the author feedback. So if you can't finish that, then the least people could do is give the feedback or whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And mine was a little different, because I think she was releasing book 2, and I told her that I hadn't read book 1, and so she sent me book 1. So that's the other reason why this was slightly different too, is because it wasn't I ruined the book release or anything like that. Like,
yeah.
I think I would feel,
I
think I would feel different if it was like a book release coming out and you were like one of the only few people who were going to review it on launch week or something crazy,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so that's it's a really fascinating topic though.
Yeah.
So mine that I wanted to talk about is my good author friend and editor H.A. Pruitt. This is the non-revised edition. So the revised edition of Anathalion ebook is actually free right now from I think the 18th to the 22nd, but don't quote me on that. So it's only free for a few days. So if you guys want to grab it, it's YA portal fantasy, and it's like Chronicles of Narnia. And for some odd weird reason, I've been able to actually read her books, and we had just discussed how YA is not my thing. But she's got a lot of I've worked with her. She's my editor, and then on top of that, she's got a lot of spiritual stuff that just God like speaks to you through her books. She has that gift, if you will.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to get into her books. I don't think I can, because I was going to read book 3, but I'm like, given my mood and the issue that I had with some of these, it's not the right time for me to try book 3 in her series. But anyways, so yeah, it's free right now. It's the revised edition. So she's got these really gorgeous chapter headers too that she's designed herself, and they're scenes from her book. And she's so good at it. And so it's like free, so you're not actually like taking a risk, you're not losing anything. I'm trying to pull up the book on my ebook, my Kindle here, but you're not actually like losing anything or risking anything, because again, it's free.
Yeah.
So if you guys want to go download that, I will post a link in the comments when we get done with this live stream. But this is the new version of the cover.
Yeah.
And that's her art. I wanted to show at least one of her, like, it's so decent.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and so each of the chapters will have a header like that, and so it's so good. And the revised edition, she like did revised editing and everything, so it's really good. If you guys are interested, it's like Chronicles of Narnia. It's very similar. So you have like 4 humans that were taken to a fantasy world, and there's a quest there. It's got a lot of spiritual truths. It's like science fiction fantasy. So it's really, really good. Her series and books are awesome. So I wanted to mention that it's free right now.
Yeah.
And along the same lines, I'm actually doing a giveaway right now. And since I fell for a scam, which we'll talk about later, but it's okay. My Kickstarter is still going on. Everybody can enter the giveaway. So it's on my main YouTube channel. I am basically giving away a paperback copy of Dark Magi. This version of it. This is actually my personal copy, so after this I won't have one. Along with an audiobook of Samurai done by Colleen Arnold. She is amazing, and she's so good.
Random fun fact: Dark Magi is like my favorite book that you've ever written. Like, yeah. It's my favorite of all of them. Like, everything. It's my favorite. I don't know if I've ever told you that. But, like, when I first read it, I have the original copy down there. Like, I have the OG cover. I have a lot of your OG covers. Like, they're, like, everywhere.
Yep.
But, when I was first reading it, I got to a certain point in the book, and I remember sitting on the floor next to my bed. It was, like, late. And I wanted to finish it. And, yeah, it was It's really good.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh, that makes my day.
I still haven't read Light Magi, though. Like, I have Light Magi, but I still haven't read it yet. So it's like I'd have to reread Dark Magi reread it before I could read Light Magi, though, to be fair. But, yeah. So it's definitely worth putting your name in for. It's a good book.
Yeah. So that's exciting, though. It's like Skyrim and D&D and Lord of the Rings, if you guys like that kind of stuff. It's got that kind of vibe to the world. The rest of the series is Lord of the Rings in space. So we have magical spaceships and elves and orcs, and we've got magic battles and Star Warsy stuff.
Sweet.
So it's like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars meshed. Yes. But this one, however, is just on a planet. So it's a prequel. But I'm giving away this exact paperback copy, so you look how good in condition it's in. I'm giving away a audiobook of Samurai because I own the rights now. So Colleen Arnold is not the author. She's the narrator. I am the author. Yeah, and she's so good. Like, you won't need another Shinji in your life. You just need her. Like, she is so good. So I'm giving away that. I'm giving away the audiobook to this one, and the narrator of it is Albie Robles. And I'm also giving away I'm giving away a mystery pack with some postcards of Valiant artwork and Valiant bookmarks that you designed, by the way. Some of them are yours, some of them are artwork bookmarks. And stuff, and a chibi art sticker of Nassan. He is the main character from Immortal. So I'm giving you, that'll be coming with your paperback book. All you guys have to do to enter is just back my giveaway and comment on my giveaway video that you backed, and I can verify that, and then you'll be entered to win, and I will announce the winner on August 27th. So that's the giveaway that I'm
also on. Random question. What was your total that you'd earned last time you checked Kickstarter?
$7.49.
So you haven't checked it?
No.
Like, check it. Just check it.
Okay. Okay. checking. I got a new banner today, so that was exciting.
It looks really pretty with it.
Oh, wait. Holy crud!
Yeah, I know. I got on to look at him like, she's not
What?
freaking out. I'm like, she doesn't know. Oh my god. Yeah.
What?
How many
Oh
backers
my
did you
god!
have before? Do you remember how many backers you had?
I had 15.
15. So you've earned a backer, but who?
Who the heck earned what in the world? What's happening? For reference, I had 749. I was $1 away from my first stretch goal.
You have
We
two.
surpassed
Okay.
that and went way
There's
past my second
okay.
stretch goal.
There's two people have two people. You have two backers for the Omnibus Immortal and Survival hardbacks. So did you have one last time on that one or two?
I think I had one.
So somebody backed the hardbacks, the three
Oh,
hardbacks.
okay. They must have gotten all the add-ons on there too. That is insane. Okay, let's do 12. What was the number? Oh my gosh. I had I had 749 last I checked. We were $1 away from the first stretch goal, and now we have
$1,265.
$1,265.
Yo.
Oh my gosh,
That's
yo!
awesome. That's awesome.
Insane.
That is insane, dude.
$516. That's a $516 difference.
Yo.
How did this? What is going on? Oh my gosh, that's insane.
That is so cool.
Okay, I have somebody else did the $7. I think that was the other day. I have 3 people who did the 25. This is insane. Okay, this is all right. I will figure out what in the world happened after this.
That's awesome, though. Yeah.
That is it is
If you've backed the Kickstarter at all, you can go on there and comment and be entered for the giveaway. So all 16 backers, like that's an option. Like you could win another book for free, just so you know.
Yeah. Also, I didn't realize this by mere coincidence, but this book actually is very similar to Survivor. King Baxen is sadistic and cruel. After taking the crown of Castray for himself, he finally squelched the rebellion of Magi who fought against him. The remaining ones will be thrown into arena to fight to the death. Baxen knows it's unlikely they'll fight each other at first. For this reason, he's sending his own son Kieran into the arena with them. As a powerful dark mage, Kieran's job is to kill the Magi. If he doesn't, his own father will kill his wife and children. Kieran will do whatever it takes to keep his family alive, even if that means he must die after slaughtering his own comrades. Is it possible to rebel in a fight you've already lost? I didn't know that we had another arena fight to the death Survivor situation up on our hands here. So this is actually kind of perfect to win if you like Survivor. Survivor is Survivor, the TV show, mixed with the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
So it's got that to it. So yeah, that is interesting. Also, we got the Shadow Daddy trope without spice. I didn't realize that Kieran qualifies as a Shadow Daddy. So that's an interesting tidbit about Dark Magi and the whole Republic Chronicles series.
Okay.
But yeah.
So I got a notification. I got a notification for Reddit, and somebody had posted in Reddit that Rebecca Yarros Rebecca Yarros is the lady that wrote the Fourth Wing series. If you didn't know that, the Empyrean series, Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm, those books. So she's notorious for creating what she calls plotting playlists. So essentially it's a playlist of all the songs that she thinks that, like, when she's plotting, like planning out a book or writing a book, she'll put songs in there that kind of go along with the theme of the plot, I guess. Or just like inspo type of thing. And so she posted, and at the top it says number 4 under her. So there's her name, there's the song title, and then it says number 4, like the hashtag symbol, number 4. And it has a picture of a song, and at the bottom it says step 1, build the plotting playlist. And in parentheses, she said, always thinking one project ahead. Now, the song is Zombie by Youngblood. And the highlight, the part of the song that she has highlighted, and because she's zeroing in on the lyrics, and the part that the lyrics that are highlighted, it's the first part of the chorus that's like, oh, I know that I can't live without you, but this world will keep turning if you do. So I'm like, This book's gonna
That
get
is,
emotional. Yeah.
I know, right? What does that mean?
I don't
Oh my
know.
gosh.
I know that I can't live without you, but this world will keep turning if you do. I know I can't live without you, but the world will keep turning if you do. So, like, I know I can't live without you, but if you live without me, the world will keep going. So, is that like Zayden to Violet?
Into Violet
Oh my god.
or
So, does
Violet to
that mean that
Zayden.
he's going to be fighting against, so she's going to be actively looking for him, and he's going to be fighting and, like, evading her, like, avoiding her?
And try not to, because he doesn't want her in his
Ah!
life because like, is he gonna realize that he's too dangerous for
Oh
her?
my
He's gonna
god.
do that stuff where it's like, you gotta stay away from me for your own good.
God,
Are we
man.
gonna get one of those?
I think so.
This book is amazing. Oh my gosh. I'm glad you
Yeah.
brought that up.
And it's like the
I did
next.
see a TikTok video that I wasn't able to watch that was like, this song has been added by Rebecca Yarros, and I was like, I'll
Uh,
save that for later. Tell
yeah.
me what it was.
And then I have a couple bookish discussion thought question things. So if you have anything specific you wanted to mention, we can bounce back and forth again.
The Kickstarters that I agreed to swap with, I will run through those and then
Okay.
we can do the book discussions.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is the Rift series, a dark fantasy with special editions. So get lost in this Wonderland-esque dark fantasy romance, slow burn, shadow daddy, fated mates, complete with foiled edition covers or foiled special editions. It is by Lindsay in Rodin, sorry, the bond of darkness and discord. Death is final, definite. Discord, however, discord is an entity that is ever changing. I cannot read tonight. So it looks like they've unlocked the second stretch goal, and so she's announcing her stretch goals and stuff. She's doing really well. The Kickstarter is. It looks really good. The art is gorgeous. And it looks like you can do the digital tier, which is like the ebook for it, and then it goes up from there. So you've got her collection and then so on and so forth. So it looks really good. The art is actually like really gorgeous and the book is gorgeous. So it sounds interesting. I mean, it's got all the favorite tropes in there. So
Sweet.
So yeah, so that one is the Rift series. A Bond of Darkness and Discord by Lindsay in Rodin, since I'm actually saying it right. This next one looks so good. It's called Rael's Redemption, a Teresan saga novel by David Liberto. An infamous cleric's testimony about 4 centuries of war crimes becomes a race against time assassins and his own dark past. It's the print and ebook of the book 1 of the Royal Point series. And it looks like it's doing really good. The covers on this are absolutely gorgeous. What happens when the most feared villain in history stands trial for his crimes and tells the truth? Which is an interesting tagline. Like, that's a good hook. Jaren was once known as, I'm butchering that character name. I'm so sorry for the author who's probably listening to this. Jorn was once known as the Scourge, a name whispered in terror across kingdoms for over 400 years. He wielded dark magic, stole souls, and served as a weapon against everything good. Now, stripped of his power and serving the god he once fought, Jorn stands trial. His sentence, a public confession detailing the horrific events of his past. As he makes his mandatory confession, deadly threats emerge. An assassin walks the halls, determined to silence him forever. His own countrymen seek to undermine his mission. And can someone who has committed such evil truly change? This isn't a hero's journey, it's a villain's reckoning. So, I'm a sucker for a good villain. I actually am going to save that for later because I need to go over my finances and stop backing this book. I've backed so many Kickstarters lately. It's a little insane. So that one sounds good. That's right. Written by, did I say the author name? David Liberto. So it looks really good. This one is actually kind of cute. 3 unusual magic worlds, 3 authors, 5 hardcovers, 7 stories. 3 portal fantasy adventures for adults and children escape into the worlds built on African folklore, a Celtic legend, and music as magic. So the covers for these look really good, and this one has the Project We Love by Kickstarter, and it was funded in 5 hours, so that means Kickstarter actually really likes this campaign. And since we've been talking about portal fantasy books with The Journey and Alien, this one actually seems kind of fitting along those lines. So it's The Strange Land by Ben Anderson, The Nightmare Tree by Richard Reen, and The Dome Singer of Feyenda by Catherine Bulver Hyde. It's doing very well. It's got like $7,000 and 73
Yeah, that's
backers, and
awesome.
you've got 16 days left. Yeah, yeah, it's
Oh.
doing really good. That one's really, at least it seems like it's family friendly. Family friendly. I cannot talk tonight. Family friendly. So it's like adults and children. So for anybody who has
Mm-hmm.
books that you want to read with your kids, or your teens or whatever, it seems like it's really cool. So the African folklore sound, and I love Celtic legends and stuff, so it
Mm-hmm.
looks pretty cool on
Sweet.
those. um Next up, this one was kind of interesting to me. Don't call them cute, upper middle grade YA horror. A haunted stuffed lamb, a dark secret, and a
Yeah.
childhood she'll never forget or escape for fans of Goosebumps and Gravity
Mm.
Falls. So it's like middle school horror.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Huh.
I've never actually thought about this genre before. So I was like, why
Yeah.
not?
The
So
number.
I reached out to the author, and
The number
I
of
was like, I know we're. Sorry, go ahead.
the number of students that I've seen like carry around Five Nights at Freddy's novels and stuff. There's a decent chunk of them out there of kids
Yeah,
that
I was like,
the middle grade, early YA horror. Yeah, it's a thing. It's
that's so
definitely a
cool.
thing. Although,
Yeah, it's like a new thing. I reached out to the author and I was like, I know we're completely different genres, but would you be willing to swap with me? I've had to do that a few times because it's like completely different. It's doing very well though. A haunted stuff. Okay, I already read that. So yeah, it's got young investigators, dreams, friendship, family issues, found family, drug abuse awareness, creepy but clean language. So I
cool.
kind of appreciate all of that. Um, Especially it's slightly scarier than Goosebumps. So it's for ages 12 and up for anybody
Gotcha.
who's interested.
Gotcha.
So yeah. Um these I couldn't resist. This one was another one where the author was like, I don't know how much our audiences are gonna overlap, but we can try.
Yeah.
Like, so these are Jane Austen inspired cozy fantasy mysteries. I was like, that is an
Oh.
interesting level of stuff. So it's cozy mystery meets magic and romance in this 12 book modern Pride and Prejudice retelling, 4 exclusive omnibuses by 4 different authors. It's
Hmm.
got $27,000 pledged to this campaign already.
That's awesome.
The gorgeous. It was funded in an hour, so they've
I
unlocked new
think
couple art.
I think that name sounded familiar. I think it's one of them that is on the. Yeah, it's on the. They're on the home screen, the homepage.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, they've.
That's by Drake, I think, or is the author doing it? I don't know what other authors are involved, but
Yeah,
so
that's cool though. I like those.
yeah.
And the covers are
It's
really
got 3
interesting
pages.
too. And I appreciate
They
that the
really
covers
are.
are
Cover
they're
gorgeous.
different, but they're consistent. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, like each one's a different color scheme, but they've got the same
Yeah,
details. It's so cool.
definitely.
Um, so yeah, it ends in 3 days. So that one, you guys got to jump on
Yes.
that. I also got to add these all to the. I will be adding them to the landing page as we speak because I'm really bad at remembering to do that. Um, but yeah, so that one's got, because I was gonna send that one in my newsletter, but my newsletter goes out this Saturday, so that's not enough time. So you got
Yeah.
3 days left. They
Yes.
look really interesting. I'm sure they do have the ebook and digital swag. So tier. I always like looking for that particular tier.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think this is last. This one I actually found on Kickstarter on my own, and I am like, it's another one I want to pledge to because it sounds good. The Captain Raven duology epic pirate fantasy series, and indie publishing classic fantasy duology book 2 is coming in 2026. This one looks like they're a bit away from their goal, so I was really wanting to push this one out everywhere because it looks so good.
Yeah.
So a dead man tells a single tale, a drowned man tells none. I was like, that's a good hook.
That's good.
It's morally gray characters, found family, danger-filled fun. The Captain Raven duology is perfect for fan of A Six of Crows, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. And it's got the captain is like Kaiser from Mistborn, which we know is Brandon Sanderson. I've been really interested in his character, and Captain Jack Sparrow from Pirates of the Caribbean. So I'm like, you've caught my interest. You have definitely caught my interest.
Yes.
So the art looks really cool too. So that
Sounds
is
good.
by The Raven's Revenge by KJ Wagner. Yeah, Wagner. I wanted to make sure I was reading that right.
Okay, cool.
So another interesting one too. So
yeah,
those are the Kickstarters.
Got a good haul tonight. Several of those sound really good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, a couple different, like, just kind of, again, I decided to join a couple different book-related, um, like, groups on Reddit. And there's a couple of questions. There's one in, like, the books Reddit, and then one in the book talk Reddit. They're both book talk related, but I thought it was interesting. The first one, it's kind of like, I can kind of understand, but not really, because it has to do, like, with IRL relationships being affected by, like, bookish relationships. So the title of it is Trying Not to Let Book Talk Ruin My Life. And it says, I've been reading a lot of amazing books lately, but how do you stop the negative impacting your life? Hearing all of these amazing stories, then returning to my quote normal life, I'm finding it particularly detrimental to the relationship department. I have a great partner, but reading about amazing relationships in books makes me want more. I'm fully aware I can't live in a fantasy world of books, but how do I be happy in my everyday life when it doesn't compare? I don't know. It's just really interesting. Huh?
So can you reread the couple sentences? Because you broke up a lot for some reason. Okay. My internet connection is crap.
Okay. Yeah, mine's having issues too tonight. I don't know. Must be the weather or something. It says, I'm finding it particularly detrimental in the relationship department. I have a great partner, but reading about amazing relationships and books makes me want more. I'm fully aware I can't live in the fantasy worlds of books, but how do I be happy in my everyday life when it doesn't compare?
That is a really fascinating topic.
I know.
And I've actually thought about, like, because, and actually Heather and I have gotten on this topic too, about how sometimes book relationships are so unrealistic with, like, marriage and especially intimacy. Like, I have noticed that the intimacy stuff is, like, vastly different from how it works in real life, and that's always been my primary concern, is that with people it, like, gives you unrealistic expectations for how things work. And I started reading all of this stuff after I got married, so I already have the one that I love, and, like, I already have Michael, and, like, I don't need anything else. But it does make me concerned for people who don't have that yet. And then anytime you try to get into a relationship, how that I have no solution. But I can see the negative outcome of it, and it makes me, like, I don't know, it makes me feel kind of sad in a way.
I don't know. Yeah. You know? I'm notorious for being single most, like, 99% of my life. Like, the 1% applies to the relationship I had for maybe, like, the month of graduation. Like, the month of prom and graduation, I was in a relationship, and I didn't really see that person in a romantic way. So, like, I'm notorious. I still haven't found the right person. And that thought's crossed my mind quite a bit of, like, I'm getting older. My mom was married and had me by my age. Like, she'd already had me, you know, when she was my age. Like, that thought's crossed my mind a lot. And it's like, I know, like, due to just different things that have happened in my life, I have a really high expectation list for a potential partner. And there was a video that I saw one time. I have no idea what podcast it was from, but if somebody can find the link and actually put the people in the comments, that'd be great. But somebody talked, it was in, like, an interview, like a podcasty style interview, where somebody made the comment one time that relationships are very rarely ever 50-50 exactly. That sometimes I may be 20%, and it's like sometimes, like, you may be at, like, 20%, and you'll have to go to your partner, your, like, husband or wife or whatever, and be like, hey, I can only give 20% today. I'm gonna need you to be that 80% because I don't have it. Or sometimes they may only have, like, 30%, and you're gonna have to step up and give that other 70%. Like, it's very rarely, like, 50-50 give effort in a relationship. Sometimes you're only 5%. And you need that person to be that 95%. And that's where it's like, I would totally agree with you that, like, and that's where sometimes, like, I know I am, like, my emotion, like, I'm struggle with empathy in real life, but when it comes to reading or watching movies or stuff, I get really empathetic towards things, or I feel emotions really strongly. And so there's times where I've had to back up and be like, okay, this is a book. This is fake. This is, you know, like, even though I know that, but it's like, in my...
You gotta remind me.
I gotta remind myself. And that's the same thing. It's like, you have this person has an amazing partner, and like you're not, don't let books fool you about the realities of life. And it's like, that's where, if you're struggling to find the positive, then maybe be actively looking for it instead of picking out all the negative. Make a point of looking for something positive that that person does every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like little things like that.
Like, it seems like I'm using the word settling, and I don't like the word settling because that's
No,
not, that
no,
has
I
a
get it.
really negative connotation. But like when I came to the understanding, like me and Michael were not each other's types. I was not attracted to him at all. And we got together because of a lie. His sister told each other that, hey, he wants to go out on a date with you. He didn't. And hey, she wants to go on a date with you. I didn't. And we went on a pity date because we didn't want to make the other person feel bad. I was not
Yeah.
his at all, and he was not my type. I had
I
had
love that
some
though.
bigger, big bearded, big guys that are big bearded, like all of that stuff. Like I've had some guys in my life like that, but it's never been my type.
Mm-hmm.
And we went on a pity date, and like we had so many things in common that we just connected, and so
Yeah.
we would talk like all night long, and then we we realize when we get to the nitty gritty, we're the exact opposite. And so we end up clashing a lot of times, but we still love each other. And so it's like, it's not settling, but it's like opening up your expectations to be something different than what you thought. And like, I've always
Yeah.
been of the mind, like we all know, God has totally
Oh
different
yeah.
ideas of plans than what you expected for
Yes,
yourself.
definitely.
Every and so when you open up your mind, when you open up your expectations to be like, to open to whatever God may bring, whoever
Mm-hmm.
God may bring into your life, you don't set yourself in this like
Yeah.
this box of like what you're looking for. And I feel like expectations are good in the sense that you don't want to get into anything bad, negative,
Yeah.
or toxic.
Yeah.
But I feel like sometimes expectations can be too high, and that can
Yeah.
keep you stuck. You end up not
Yeah.
finding someone at all. But
Yeah.
it's like, here you have this
It's
person who's in a really happy relationship that should be.
yeah.
And it's like, you're not going to find a tall, dark, and handsome guy that gives you everything you want all the time. And like all of these books, especially in the intimacy department,
Mm-hmm.
it's like the guy giving to the girl, like everything that she wants. And it's like, pleasure and intimacy don't work that way.
Yeah.
An actual relationship doesn't work that way. And like
Yeah.
you said, it's not always going to be 50-50. Like
Yeah.
you're going to have to give to your partner as much as you
Yeah.
want to be given
Yeah.
from, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. If
No,
that's
that makes
something that I'm
sense.
working
Definitely.
on.
And it's like, and I like
But
how you said that, like, settling's not the right word, but it's like, I think there's a fine line between having expectations that keep you safe and that are being
mm-hmm,
logical and using your brain, but at the same time understanding that this person is not going to be perfect. There's going to be something that irritates you about them. And it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, do you love this person enough to stick with them and to stick it out through the things that you don't like or the things that you disagree with? But at the same time, is it healthy for you to be in that relationship? Is it like, for this person, like, are you unsatisfied purely because this person is not Zayden or Resand? Or are you unsatisfied because this person's not giving to meet what
mm-hmm,
you're able to give, if that makes sense? And so it's like,
yeah,
maybe that's a discussion that this person needs to have with their partner and be like, okay, I want to feel closer to you. I want to feel more, like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a discussion that if a person's feeling that way and feeling like their real life relationships just don't compare and they just feel unsatisfied, maybe that's a discussion you need to have.
mm-hmm. But a
Because
lot of it too is like, what to me, what has helped these last couple of years is learning what each other's love language is, because like what
yes.
you need
Mm-hmm.
fulfilled is totally different from
Yes.
what they may need. And I've learned that about Michael. And like, I have not always been the best at like speaking the love language that he speaks. He's very
Mm-hmm.
physical, so he
Yeah.
likes, touching my arm with his hand or something basic.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, I'm just like, I don't want to be touched. I'm not a touchy feely kind of person.
Yeah.
And so it's like, sometimes you gotta, like, I've had to learn, and I'm still horrible at it, where you give a little bit. And like lately I've noticed
Yes.
he's a lot more jokey and like a lot more like,
Mm-hmm.
let's pick on Joanna and push all of her buttons and try to tick her off, but he gets a
Yeah.
thrill, and he
Yeah.
loves that.
Yeah.
And so I've learning to try to be patient because that's his love language. He loves doing that. He's having a
Mm-hmm.
blast, like
Yeah.
picking on me. Don't let it get irritated.
Yeah.
No, don't get irritated,
And
or vice versa,
yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just basic stuff.
And if anyone, just a side comment, if no somebody doesn't know what we're talking about when we say love languages, if you go to 5lovelanguages.com, there's like a free quiz that you can take that will show you what your love language is. There's like 5 different ones. There's acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and receiving gifts. And so, like, I know for me, it's pretty much a tie between quality time and acts of service. Like, that's my thing. Is but like, and one of my lower ones, the third and fourth options are tied. For words of affirmation and physical touch are only 17%, but my top two are 30 and 27. So it's like, like, we're all slightly different, and like understanding. I'm glad you mentioned that, because it's like that's also something that you have to remember is like,
Yeah.
you know,
Mm-hmm. For me, quality time is a big one, and gift giving is a big one, and words of affirmation. Like I need to feel validated, and I hate that I do that because I've had some people in my life like
mm-hmm.
almost not want to be around me because I need validation so much.
Yeah.
But like that's just I need validation
No,
for like I
yeah.
need to
Words of
hear that
affirmation.
I'm
Yeah.
doing well, or that you're
Yeah.
proud of me or whatever. And like quality, that's why when we hang out on Discord it means a lot, because the quality time to me
Yeah.
is just as
Me too.
important. Like after
Yeah.
we hang out, I feel so refreshed
And
sometimes. Like same with my sister and my husband.
can I just make a comment that as an introvert whose love language is quality time is so hard. It is
Oh my god.
extremely
I never
extreme.
thought
It
about
is
that.
like, no joke. I have gotten times where it's like, if you ask me to go out and do something, I really don't, like, there's days where I really don't want to go out and do things, but I am
Yeah.
so incredibly lonely just sitting at home alone. Like, it's so
Oh my
conflicting
god.
a lot. And it's like, it's something that I haven't ever really talked about, but that it's like, it's insane. That it's
Yeah. That's crazy. I never
like
thought about
my
that.
concept of quality time is just like the times where you and I will just chill in a Discord call together. Like, you'll be doing something, I'll be playing a game or doing something, and maybe we make a comment every once in
We
a
don't
while.
even
Like, we don't even
time.
need to interact with
Yeah.
one another. Or like, you could be playing a video game. Like, when we come for like the New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve stuff. Like, there's times where I'll just be like, can we just sit on the couch? You play a game and I watch you. Like, is that can we do that? Like, because that's in in my brain. That's quality time for me. Like, I can't
I remember you having to do
sometimes
that.
yes, and like sometimes I can't physically contribute, like, socially, because I'm just done.
Mhm.
But I also
Yeah. I'm learning to
I
tell when
don't
you get to that point.
yes. And
So yeah.
honestly, I firmly believe that's why I always have a Twitch stream or a YouTube video playing, because I cannot stand the concept of not having. I don't know. It's weird. It's really interesting, but that's a whole
Yeah.
other topic that probably
It's
has
really
nothing to do with books.
conflicted.
But it's really interesting though. It's
No, it's
just
okay. I mean, books. A lot of people who read books are introverts, so it's kind
yeah,
of like a meme at this point too. But yeah, and it's like
yeah.
you had to teach me that because I remember when we first started doing the Discord hangouts, I felt
Mm-hmm.
like I had to always be in
No.
host mode. Always talk to her, always interact with her,
Uh-huh.
always do
No.
something, always be doing. And
Yeah.
now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, she doesn't need to be hosted. I can relax. It's all it's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But it's like mine is like I'm an introvert and an extrovert both. So like I'm really shy and I don't like to talk to people first, but I get energized when I go out and do things.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
the confliction there is really interesting too.
Yeah.
But man, that would be like, oh, that's an interesting topic.
Yeah.
So
So the last discussion thing I had was another Reddit post. This one was just from the books Reddit group. The quote, it was posted 3 months ago by Qteen, by someone named Quhten. They said, how does a TikTok recommendation book make you feel? That's the title of it. It says, I don't use TikTok and I only recently got back into reading, so I'm not in tune with book talk recommendations. All the books I've read so far are not from book talk. They may have been recommended, but I don't discover them via the app. My friend recommended a series to me, and in the Goodreads description, it literally states a book talk fantasy sensation. Now, I know book talk gets a bad Now, I know book talk gets a bad reputation for getting giving out bad book recommendations, but at the same time, I know it's still a valid way to learn about new books. Heck, I even think bookstores sometimes have a table that highlights book talk recs. Would the mention of TikTok dissuade you from reading a book, or would you not care if the description is interesting enough? Obviously, if the book description in general doesn't interest me, it doesn't matter if it's a TikTok book or not. LOL. I feel like I'd probably give a book a try, even if it's a TikTok sensation, until I get burnt out at least 3 times. But probably will never learn if the description is good enough. Haha. So it's kind of an interesting concept of like, does
Yeah.
like as an author, I don't know. It's really questioning. Her main question was, would the mention of TikTok dissuade you from reading a book, or do you not care if the description is interesting enough? Or would you not care if the description is interesting enough? Like, I guess.
I don't care.
Yeah.
Really. Like if it's a book I want to read, it's like um I don't find my book recommendations from TikTok, but if there's a book that I want to read that is a sensation on TikTok, it won't stop me from reading it, or I'll read it anyway, if that makes sense.
I feel like if a book has gone viral on TikTok, I feel like it's a lot easier for me to get into it because so many people are talking about it. But if I'm not interested in a book, I'm not gonna read it. Like the cozy fantasy, like the orc, the cozy fantasy book that has like a picture of like a female orc on it. Like that's one I've seen that was going around TikTok, book talk for a while. It was not my cup. I'm not into cozy fantasy. That's one subgenre that I will evade. It's not my thing. I don't like it. It just feels when I think of fantasy, I think of magic, action, angst. That's my thoughts when I personally. That's what I read fantasy for, and it's like cozy fantasy's not going to have that. So, or at least I don't think it will. Yeah, that's true. High stakes. So it's like honestly, if it says a TikTok sensation, I don't know. I would have been. It would have kind of made me like. I don't like it when they say, "Oh, such and such's new novel," blah blah blah, blah, like where it like talks about like, "Oh, this is the author's newest sensation." That will anytime they talk that they don't anytime they put something like that in the book blurb that doesn't pertain to the story of the book, like anytime they're like, "Oh, this is the author's latest sensation," my brain will instantly shut off and I'll go to something else, just because.
Oh wow.
I don't know. It's not instantly, but more times than not, when I've seen that, I have to really, really focus, and I don't even read that part. I will skip to the point where the actual summary will start, just because. So it's like, if I were to see that there and it's just that, I feel like it would be okay. But if it's like in the middle of this big spiel about this author's latest TikTok book talk sensation, blah blah blah, the longer that whole spiel is before the actual synopsis or description, whatever you call it, a book blurb is what you call it. But yeah, like however long that spiel is before the actual book blurb, the longer it is, the less likely I am to read it. Just because.
Yeah, I always skip those when I think that.
Yeah, so
it's like it doesn't tell me anything. And I notice a lot of people do it, and so I started almost doing it on my Valiant series for a while, but it just annoys me so much because I want to know what the book's about. It's like Netflix does this with a lot of their movies and shows. It's like starring this actor and that actor, directed by blah blah blah, and I'm like, that doesn't tell me what the movie's about, like, at all. Mm-hmm. So it's like when they do the accolades or that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I got into a scam, and I did want to mention it just briefly because I'll probably do a whole video breaking it down on my thing. But anybody wanting to get on Kickstarter from an author's perspective, I got a message that looked like it was from a Kickstarter administrator saying that, okay, we've paused your Kickstarter and we need you to verify your bank account details. Otherwise, you won't be able to get more backers. So obviously I panicked. It looked official. I'm very careful about that kind of stuff. So the fact that I fell for this was like, it was very, very, even other people said this looks official. Turns out it was a scam, so I clicked on the link and it took you what looked like the Kickstarter page. And so I put my bank details, my bank card details in, and it took forever to like load, and that was kind of a red flag. And then I posted pictures of it to the Kickstarter group. Luckily one of them said, you know, what's the link? And so I posted the link somewhere else in the comment, and it popped up like a preview, and it was like the wrong page. And so I contacted my bank. Everything's fine. We've frozen my card. They're going to send me a new one, and they've got my accounts on alert, so I don't think anything big happened. But just beware of like being on
Mm-hmm.
Kickstarter. If you're going to run a Kickstarter, you will get people wanting you to pay for promotion for your Kickstarter. It never works. Don't ever fall for it. And Kickstarter officials, they will always put an alert, like an actual like thing at the
Pop
top
up
of your
alert at the
Kickstarter.
top.
Even if
Yeah.
you're browsing other books, it'll just be there. And so they will contact you. Like, that's not how that works. So don't
Yeah.
fall for it. Just
Yeah.
to give everybody a heads up on that.
Yeah.
This next one we wanted to talk about Audible's new controversy,
Mm-hmm.
because we love Audible and we love controversies with it because there's always something. Um,
Yeah.
so they're changing the way they do things, and this is really, really complex. So there's a video, I will post it in the comments below, of who it is because I can't remember the name, who goes over everything in really good detail. But essentially they have the Audible Plus and then the Audible Premium Plus, and if you subscribe you can use your credits, and then you can also run through their catalog. Well, essentially, like, if you're using a your credit, like say to read Fourth Wing, you can
Mm-hmm.
also then listen to these other books that are in the catalog for free. Most people would expect that credit to go toward the author, but now they're going to split the
Mm-hmm.
fund, the what's it called, the
Yeah.
funds from it. Basically, when you spend the credit, the royalties are not going to the author, they're going to anybody in the plus category. And so it's like
Mm-hmm.
dividing the royalties wrong. And even if your book's not in the category, the premium catalog thing, your royalties are still going to be taken from. And I don't know how it works, and I don't know how to explain it any better than that. So it's a really bad situation. I would highly suggest anybody who wants to know can go watch the video. um because it's really, they're trying to get a petition to like change the way that it works, because you should like keep it separated. But so yeah, that's it is Daniel Green is the guy who did the video breakdown of it. He interviewed somebody who actually talked with the CEO of Audible, and he goes over the whole thing. So if you really want it to be explained, um he can explain things really well. It's called Audible is Broken. Daniel Green, his video covers that. So, um, like I said, in a lot more detail, and explains how it works and all that stuff. So,
Yeah. Huh. Yeah. I swear, it
um,
feels like there's always something with Audible. Like, every day they're doing something different that it's just like, I don't know.
yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So, and then along those same lines, I think Spotify is redesigning the way that you'll listen to audiobooks, is the article that I found. This is from the 18th, so it was actually today.
Hmm.
When you get a book, you're always making compromises. Okay, we get that. So, trying to find where it gets to the point. Spotify has crafted something more. It's a follow-along feature. The company is bringing back visuals and music to the mix and nudges the form of the audiobook forward in the process. The feature is currently being tested. It follows years of focus on the audiobook segment on the music streamer. Spotify launched an audiobook offering in 2022, and then audiobooks, its premium program, in 2023, where you get, if you subscribe and at the premium tier, you get 15 hours of listening per month. So it's launched Okay, it launched a new $11.99 per month Audiobooks Plus add-on, which grants 15 hours of listening on top of whatever plan you
Yeah.
have. Um,
It's
so
not
I'm just
worth
trying to
it.
get to the point. So the follow along initiative spawned from the supplementary PDF files publishers provide with audiobooks, according to Niam Persley, Spotify's director of product design for audiobooks. Now, no shade on PDFs, Parsley says. I love a good PDF, but Spotify users weren't engaging with those files much, even though they often contain rich imagery or tools to assist with the retention of complex topics.
They had
Follow along
PDFs.
emerged from a broad experiment. I like PDFs. I don't know what the deal
I
with
didn't
that
know
was,
that. I didn't
but
know that Spotify had PDFs. They have PDFs.
I never noticed either. A thought experiment about how Spotify could get more value of its existing content. Wouldn't it be cool if this cookbook that we have the audio for showed us the recipe so I can be inspired by it and more likely actually to make the recipe? Rather than start with a wireframe filled with dummy text, she says the Spotify team led with the book's actual content to create solutions to organic to each book. When Follow Along first launched as a test last November, users discovered visual assets like photos and diagrams synced to the narration in real time with the Spotify app. With the launch of the AI techno thriller family drama Culpability last month, the team has taken the model to new levels. Okay, Spotify producer, casting director works with the author to bring the experience to life. Hearing the narrator's early recordings prompted the team to add custom visuals to the first time. Her performance was so multifaceted, it inspired us to explore the ways the listener's experience on Spotify even more dynamic. They identified moments of the manuscript that lent itself to visual storytelling. They created the book's cover, so they got that team, the cover team, on it as well. They created more than 100 custom assets for the audiobook, from section headers to chat logs and conceptual images that echo the vibe of the cover. So, okay. I no doubt likely missed certain visuals by virtue of my not. I don't understand. Okay. Okay. Now when the audiobooks are probing an album or discussing a certain song, link to it will appear at the top app so users can save it to the library or listen in the moment. Currently, Follow Along is still a test feature, while Spotify declined to provide more robust usage metrics. Parsley noted that users actively engaging with the initial slate of titles, supplementary material within the app increased by 245% over their PDF counterparts. To be honest, I have no idea what any of this is talking about. I've never noticed the PDF information. I don't know what Follow Along is. I've never noticed that on the Spotify app, and I'm on it quite a bit. So,
yeah.
And that article didn't do a great job of explaining it in a way that I could explain it to somebody else and understand. So,
Yeah. Huh.
so Spotify may or may not be doing something differently with the visuals when you're listening to audiobooks. That's about the gist I got out of that.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, so there's like different add-on. Yeah, so like the only add-on that they have at the moment is the extra hour listening hours, which if I'm being completely honest with you, spend $11.99 and just get on a service that gives you a credit that you can just own the book. Don't give it to Spotify just so you can listen to it and then not have access to it afterwards, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to have to pay another $11.99 if you ever want to reread that book. Don't do that.
Or to listen to the rest of it for books that are over 15 hours.
Yes, exactly. Don't do that. Go to some place. If you don't want to support Audible, there are other alternatives to Audible that I know. One of them that I've looked at that I saw like Librio.fm. That was one of them I looked at this week. They didn't have as many options. You can support your local library by doing Hoopla. Might check with your library, because a lot of local public libraries have like e-resources, so like a lot of electronic resources, and that's one of them. You can get like videos, audiobooks and ebooks all in that one. But I think it was like what was the other one that I mentioned to you the other day? Oh, it was I saw, what was it called? Everend? Was that what it?
Everend. Yeah, Everend.
Everend, and then there's Librio.fm. I'm seeing several people in Reddit say that they like Librio.fm. One thing I found, there's like, I was looking at some like bigger titles that I know most places would have. Like I looked up like I'll look up Harry Potter, or different things, and like just some different things. I'll look up like Lord of the Rings, because that's one of them. And I have all the books bought on Audible, like with my different credits for Lord of the Rings. But like sometimes that, like if you're curious if a subscription service will have some like top names, just look up some of those. Let's see, Librio.fm. It is $14.99 for 1 credit per month. You get 1 credit per month, but you also get a 30% off additional audiobooks. There's member exclusive sales that you can get into. Um, Everand, I feel like the pricing is slightly cheaper on Everand. I'm not sure. It's $11.99 per month after your 30-day free trial. So there's other options other than just that one. I don't know. I like the concept of letting people that have premium giving them so many hours of listening hours. I like that concept. Um, I don't like I don't like that the add-on feature irks me, bothers me,
Yeah,
because why would I spend an extra $12 on top of my subscription already just to get to listen to a book that I'm not even going to own after I'm done reading it? Like, I know we just ranted about Audible and their like um the royalties and stuff, and I wish they would just straighten it out, because I love Audible. I love all the books that I have a really good list of audiobooks on Audible. So like
from a reading standpoint, I just hate it from the author standpoint and
yes.
how they treat authors. Like, that's the
Yes, I
thing.
do
The behind
too.
the scenes stuff is not good. As a reader, it's very usable and easy, and it's like a one-time fee, and you get a credit a month. Like, it makes sense
Yeah.
in that aspect. But Spotify is like also kind of just, I totally get what you're saying though.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to look up is one thing to remember with Everand. I guess you can only access the book as long as you have an active subscription, which is different than Audible. With Audible, if you've spent the credit to buy the book, you have access to it whether you are subscribed or not. So that is kind of a downside to Everand, which kind of makes me sad, because this was like a question from 2 months ago, and somebody posted and said, I canceled and came back and still had previous unlocks. I didn't use the app after I canceled, but I think you have access to them. Not totally sure. And someone said, no, you cannot access them unless you have an active subscription. So you still have them in your unlocked section. So you unlock different books. So instead of like buying them, like with Audible, you unlock them. So if you cancel your subscription, you don't have access to your unlocks. But as long as your subscription, if you cancel and then come back later, they're still listed there. So I don't know. It's just kind of depends. If you really, really, really don't want to support Amazon and Audible and all that, they're all are alternatives that you can go to.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's something that Daniel Green brings up in his video, is that unfortunately they pretty much have the monopoly on the majority of audiobooks
Yes,
right
they do.
now. There's not a whole lot of options. There's definitely not any options for authors for the most part, for us to go to, especially for those like me who are doing royalty share. Audible is the only one that will allow you to split royalties with the narrator if you can't pay for them outright.
Yeah.
And so I literally don't have any other options other than not having my books in audiobook form, and I'm missing you would miss a whole version, like a whole different audience of people who like listening to audiobooks only. So, so one of my fun things that I wanted to talk about was Kickstarter for authors. One of the administrators of the group is Anthea Sharp, and I paid her to like critique my Kickstarter, so she's been wonderful. She actually went to some sort of con, like a book con type thing. There's Worldcon that was going on for a while. I know a lot of authors sold some books at Worldcon. Brandon Sanderson actually met with her, and she posted a picture of it, and she said, Brandon Sanderson sends his greetings to everyone in Kickstarter for authors, with a smiley face and a wink face. And I thought that was so cool that he like shouted out Kickstarter for authors, and like all of us authors who are doing Kickstarters, especially those of us who are small, because he's very big. He holds the record for like the most money earned in a book Kickstarter, and so it's nice that he's like, like says hi to the small guys kind of. And so I thought that was kind of nice of him.
Yeah.
Was one of mine. Another quick one, we talked the other day about how oh my gosh, for some reason Henry Cavill. Okay, his name escaped me for half a second. We talked about how Henry Cavill mentioned that he wasn't happy with the actor they chose for Severus Snape, and the author J.K. Rowling like what supported him or whatever. So now we actually have Rupert Grint, who played Ron in Harry Potter, actually voiced his disappointment about it as well.
Hmm.
And he openly supports J.K. Rowling's stance and believes it's the right decision. The bold take has sparked interest and different reactions
Hmm.
across the fandom. So I thought that was interesting that he also voiced. It takes a lot of bravery to voice your opinion these
Yeah.
days on big controversial topics like that. So
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that,
Yeah.
like Henry Cavill. So
Yeah. I don't like that. I don't like that they're like in doing so they're unintentionally or intentionally. I have no idea. They're just putting it into a position where they're going to be inserting racism into a series that didn't have it to begin with, and that upsets me.
yeah,
Like
for sure.
I don't want any child to feel uncomfortable or feel like I don't know. It just anyway. I will stop ranting about it because
Yeah,
I've ranted about it a lot to you, and I should.
that's okay. I just wanted to mention that like Ron Weasley's actor, I thought that was
Yeah.
fascinating that he disagrees with the decision too. So you have more and more people calling it out that
Yeah.
are famous that actually have kind of a bigger voice than like you and me, for example.
Yeah.
So and then my last things are not book related, but I had to mention it because K-pop Demon Hunter has been exploding all over the internet. We all know that. It has a lot of tropes that we love from the books that we like to read, so that's why I feel like I can talk about it on this channel because
Mm-hmm.
it's very bookish. We love those kind of tropes.
Yes.
Um, but it has gotten like at last of the time that this was posted, like 180 million views. It's gotten like global popularity. It has gotten like the world record for it's yeah, okay, 158 million views, making it the fourth most watched English language film ever on Netflix. It ranks behind like Red Notice, Carry On, Don't Look Up. Um, it actually got this achievement like 45 days of release. It's the first Netflix original animated film to break the streamer's all-time top 10 list, which is a milestone for it. Um, it had like it holds so many different like records and stuff. It's just been crazy. So I wanted to mention some of those achievements and records that it's been getting because it's just like it's
Yeah.
crazy. So which I'm happy for it. So that's why it's been a global phenomenon, like all over the internet, everywhere. So
Yeah.
that was the last thing I had about, and I'm out of water, and my throat is not
Yes.
okay. Mm.
Another thing I was randomly saw on a Reddit post. There's like a website called somebody talked about how they canceled Audible and they've went like without Audible for so long, and I guess there's somebody said that they use like websites called Chirp, and I kind of looked it up because I never heard about it, but it's like popular audiobooks up to 95% off, no subscription fees. So it says Chirp is an audiobook retailer that brings you amazing limited time audiobook deals without subscriptions or hidden fees. So I don't know how it works exactly. Like you have to kind of make an account, but it lets you download. You can stream them or download them, download them or stream them from an app, I think. But it's like deals for cheaper. So if you want to just buy the audiobooks outright, I guess it's like ways to get deals on it. I was looking it up to see if there's any kind of um, like big names. Um, yeah, like things like
Right.
Harry Potter is not available on Chirp. Um, Again, your audiobooks are gonna if you're paying for them outright, they're gonna be expensive. So like A Court of Thorn and Roses is on the ACOTAR's on there, but it's $16.99. Narnia, Magician's Nephew is there. Divergence here, but they're all like 20 some dollars. So I don't know if it's really a deal, but if like Aragon's on here, Cinder, Child of Blood and Bone, there's several ones that I recognize, but again, you're paying like the official price, like the bigger price for the audiobook itself. So you're buying the audiobooks outright rather than unlocking them with a subscription
Yeah.
service. So it's kind of like I don't know. It depends on how serious people are about boycotting or like how serious they want to get. For me, I just don't. I don't pay into the subscription service. So any new audiobooks that I want to listen to, I'll go to like Hoopla first, and if they don't have it, I'll look at Spotify, and if Spotify doesn't have it, that's when I'll go to something like Audible. But like I'll go through all the others first to see if I can't find it somewhere else and listen to it somewhere else and like borrow it. Um, yeah, Hoopla is my main go-to if I don't have the book unlocked on Audible. But yeah, I just don't buy credits. I don't buy into the subscription service anymore unless they have like a deal or something where it's like, I don't know. It
Yeah,
just
I
feels
only
weird.
where it's like 99 cents for 3 months or something
Yeah,
crazy where it's like
yeah,
the deal at that point, or something. But
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be watching the story as it unfolds and figuring out if there's gonna ever be a
Yes.
solution or if something else is gonna happen with it. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, let us know what you guys are reading and how your reading is going this month
Yeah.
and all that stuff. So, don't forget to check out the Kickstarter page. She has it linked. We also have our Discord linked
I
if you
need
guys
to
want to
update
join
the
our
disc. I
Discord.
need to update the Discord link too. I'm
Okay.
sure it's probably expired by this point because it
Yeah.
expires after so long. So check in
Cool.
with the Discord link. I'll update that as soon as the stream's over. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I will also link Anathalion because it'll be free. And the video that Daniel Green does about Audible. So those will be as a pinned comment as soon as the stream is over with as well. And then you guys can go find my channel. It's author Joanna White. I'll be doing a giveaway. That's the same handle as my Instagram, which I'll be posting the giveaway to as well. So
awesome. All right, we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.
talk to you later. Bye.